By now, hopefully you've been documenting your life and you find that it's pretty simple until you sit down and start editing it. Today, I'm going to show you a few tools inside DaVinci Resolve so that you can speed up your workflow, edit your videos faster. If editing has been the bottleneck, this video is what you need. So hi, welcome back. And if you are new here, my name is Nathan. Here on this channel, I help individuals like you start documenting your life and maybe sprinkle a little bit of that quote-unquote cinematic look into your videos. So the first one is going to be in the media pool, specifically in the edit tab, not in the media pool tab. Without any further ado, let's hop right into it. You can customize the metadata columns right up here. So what you want to do is, if you are in media pool, I usually just work straight in the edit page. If you are in this view, this thumbnail view, you can click this one here for the list view. Right click on this bar here, click on customize columns, and as you can see, it's displaying a lot of stuff that we don't need, especially for documenting our life. And so what you want to do is just go ahead and press remove all field and choose the one that choose the one that matters to you. And here are some of my recommendation. First, it is the date modified. I have it highlighted on here. I also usually choose frame per second, video codec, date added. Oh, before you click save, you can actually save it as a new preset. So I might as well, I'll just call this document life. Let's just go with that. Boom. And it's saved. Say you make modification, you can also update it. We'll do that in a second here. So just go ahead and click save. So now, as you can see on top here, we'll have the clip name and the date modified. I like this. It's a much cleaner look. There's less stuff that you are not going to need. For me, I like to see the frame per second because I like to know what type of footage I'm working on. And then the date added and date modified. Now, the difference between date modified and date added, if you don't know already, is that date modified it's when you recorded your footage, and that would be the date modified. Date added is just the date that you add into this media pool. So I'm just gonna show you an example here. I'm just gonna grab a random file or a file that I have, and I'm gonna drop it in here, and you will notice that date modified, which is the date that it was filmed, which is back in May. And as you can see right now, I dropped it in at December 12th, 10:03 and 52 seconds. So that's the difference between date modified and date added. I could see that date added could be very useful, especially when you have like a million things on here in your bin, and say you have a lot of stuff and you just toss a file in and you have no idea where it's at. You can always sort it by date added and then it'll pop up. And you can also rearrange this and place it anywhere you want. So for now, I'm just gonna put it back here because I actually prefer video codec. So if I miss anything else, I can always go back into the customize columns window here and add anything else I want. Say I wanted to add in format and file path. This is kind of important for me because I am kind of messy. I pull files from many different folders, so a file path is quite useful. Once I add these two in, I can just go up here and update preset. The preset settings will be replaced. Boom. And then I'll click save again, and now it's here. And just in case you messed up or you don't like what you see or you don't like the way you customized it, you can always load default layout. By customizing the columns and having it display the things that just needed for what you're working on, that's going to help you tremendously, and it get rid of all the non-essential stuff. and so that you can focus on the things that matters to you. I recommend spending a little bit more time in this and just customize the things that cater to you for your specific needs. So the next one here, this one is probably, well, they're all important, but I feel like this is probably one of the most important one, is using shortcuts. If you happen to use Final Cut, Premiere, or even CapCut, which I know a lot of people use nowadays, try to learn the short keys. That would help you speed up a lot. So let's hop right back in. Go up to menu here, go to keyboard customization, and learn some of the short keys, things that you use the most. So things like putting a break between this clip here. So say I want to break this clip up, I can just bring it over here somewhere, and I can do Command B and it will break that. Things like that would be useful because sometimes you would want to chop up your clip. And things like ripple cut. So say you want to get rid of this portion here on the clip because it was silent, and I bind it to a key so that I can just press a key and it will ripple cut this portion and push everything on the right here towards the left. And in order to do that, you go up to the menu here, go to keyboard customization, and I currently have it bind to the two brackets here. This is to cut everything on the right side, and this is to cut everything on the left side. So in order to see that, you can click on here, and as you can see, it pops up where that command is being allocated, and you click on the command itself and it will show you where it is being utilized in terms of the keystroke. So I have it under ripple, end to playhead, and start to playhead, and this is where I put it. And so you can use the same. You can actually apply this to yourself as well. You can use the same short keys on the keyboard. I notice I use this 99% of the time. Instead of doing, say I put a cut there and I wanted to cut there, and then I would move it here and then click on here and then press delete. That takes too long. Versus put a cursor there, press that bracket, and it will automatically got rid of that section and ripple it for me. Yeah, I cannot emphasize enough on how important it is to use shortcuts or short keys. So again, I highly recommend just learn the short keys, whether if you're on, if you're not using Resolve, learn it on your editing software, and it will definitely speed up your workflow. So the next one here is called Insert Gap. This is a new one for Resolve. So let me just show you real quick on here. So you can just put the cursor anywhere you want. This is the new feature. Right click onto the timeline, not on the clip, but onto the timeline, and you will see Insert Gap, and it will put in a gap. Now, let me show you what we had to do before. So before, you would break it, and in order to select everything on the right side and move it to the right, I would have to have the playhead on that first clip. I would hold down Option Y and push everything on that side. Because now I can just put my playhead where I want it to cut, and right click, Insert Gap, boom, automatically pushed everything to the right. So right now, if you notice, when we do the insert gap, there's no short key for it yet. There's no shortcut. So let's do that right now. Just go up to keyboard customization, and in here type insert gap and click on that. You can also check whether if any of your short keys are taken by utilizing this panel here. Let's do Control G. So I'm just gonna do Control G. And I currently have it saved onto one of my custom keyboard customization node or preset, so that it's easier for me to say if I install this onto another computer, I can always pull this up. But yeah. Alright, so now I can easily insert that gap by putting the playhead where I want, and instead of right clicking normally, and as you can see, it even has it on here, but we're not gonna use the mouse for that. I'm just gonna do Control G, and again, it will insert that gap for you. The duration of the gap, say you don't want it to be 5 seconds. 5 seconds might be too long, and normally you would have to go all the way to Preferences, User, and in the editing, it is right now locked under standard still duration. A lot of people complain about this because what if you want the duration of your still to be, say, 20 seconds, but you want your gap insert to be 5 seconds, and that can throw you off a little bit. And it would be nice for Resolve to include a separate section just for gap insert. But there is another way that you can control this without going into the settings. If you have a numpad on your keyboard, this is very, very useful. You can just press the plus and say you want the gap to be 2 seconds. Now this is based off on frame per second, so that's only 2 frames, and I normally have 24 frames per second. So if I want 2 seconds, that is 48 frames. So I can type in plus 48. If this is where I want the cut to be, I can do Control G, and that is, you can see 2 seconds right up here. Numpad is really useful if you have a numpad on your keyboard. So that is how you insert a gap and speed up your workflow. So the next two is gonna be audio related. It's gonna save you a lot of time too. So let's hop back in. So this feature here is super useful for those that do vlogs, document their life, especially the talking head style like I have here. As you can see, there are these gaps in between my clip, and a lot of time I would pause so that I can look at my notes to make sure that I am staying on point. I want to be able to cut those out quickly. So in order to do that, you select the clip that you want to cut out the silences. You go up to Clip, Audio, Operations, Ripple, Delete, Silence. And what it does is it detects all of the silent moments. But the cool thing here is you can change the threshold of the decibel to take out more or less of that sound. As you notice, if you take out less, it's gonna leave in some of these down at the right corner here. Maybe I bump into something and it makes a sound, or this is just me breathing, it will leave it in there. So you can increase or decrease the threshold to your liking. You can adjust the amount of frames that it will cut before the next sound comes in. And post-tail is the amount of frames that you want to leave in your clip once it detects a silence. Alright, another function or feature that saves me so much time just for the sake of this tutorial. Whenever you find a music, so say I found my music and it is only about 2 minutes and 30 seconds long versus say my video is 4 minutes long or however long this is. And before, I would have to find a cut somewhere, I would splice it, and then I would extend it out, and then I would find the cut somewhere that can match with the beginning of this clip of this audio, and I would match it together until I get all the way to the end of my video. If you've done this before, you would know what I mean. But that takes up so much time. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it, but ever since Resolve have this new feature, I use it religiously. So the first thing you want to do is have your music on here, onto the clip, onto the timeline, and go all the way to the inspector. Go down to AI Music Editor and click on Live Trim. And as soon as you click on Live Trim, you're gonna see that down here, there's a little, I guess, icon indicating that it is in the live trim mode. And when you move your cursor to the end of the music track, you can also see that little icon popped up. Just click that drag it all the way to the end. It'll analyze for a few seconds. What it does is automatically detect the beats and sort of stitch it together. Come towards the end here. You notice there's still, even though I extended beyond the length of my video, but it edited just a little short. Sometimes I just leave it, but if you really want to fiddle around with it a little bit, you can click on different version. You can also see if it extends it out for you or not. See that? You can try out different versions. I kind of like the version 4 because it has less cuts, and I'm done. How fast was that? I did not have to sit for hours finding different music and try to fuse it together. I mean, it's fun. I love doing that. I love the process of stitching different music together as well. But this saves so much time. So those are just some of the features that I use it regularly, and it has helped me speed up my workflow tremendously. And I hope that you would implement some of these into your workflow. I've mentioned this before. I also made a video a while back showing you how to create the short keys and what short keys you should try to familiarize yourself with, even though those videos are years ago. However, it's still relevant today. And so I highly recommend just go over there and check those videos out. Let me know in the comment if you have any questions. I will do my best to help you out. So on that note, stay safe, stay creative, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.